Good morning. Well, it's morning for me. It's about 11 a.m. Happy Tuesday. This is me just doing a test run with the algorithm and to see what's happening. I actually did a fun stream last night at about 4 in the morning. Had a fair amount of people in there. And so I figured, let's try it when I get up and see where it takes us. Plus, I don't think anyone in the Dabbleverse world is doing a stream right now, so I try and stay clear of that universe just so I don't butt heads with anybody. I know MLC is in 2 hours, so I figured this would be a good time. Nothing really going on in the news, nothing too crazy. Although I did see Pittsburgh Steelers safety KZ suspended for the rest of the season for that brutal hit on Pittman the other night in Indianapolis. And oh, I see my friend Eric Bischoff is trending. Let's see what trouble Eric's getting himself into. He keeps it real. What up, Ruth? What up, Nick? Michaela? I mean, it's a hard time to be a Steelers fan right now, I tell you that much. But, I know this is a double shot. I'm just trying to see where the algorithm takes me. I've been doing some research on YouTube. Let me make sure my internet is, we'll put it on. I mean, I just couldn't sleep last night, so I figured I'd take a shot and do a stream, and it was pretty fun. Talked a little bit about wrestling and some politics. My streams are about everything and nothing at the same time. So I try and be an alternative to the Dabbleverse world, of which I am adjacent to, but I think it's good to have your own lane and um, oh, thank you, Sean. Saren, thank you. Sorry, I just woke up, so I thought that said Sean. Yeah, I had fun. I have fun doing these streams, and I like to think it's, um, especially the late ones. My voice is deep, dry, and monotone. So if you're trying to go to sleep, I have the perfect voice for you to catch up on your Z's. And I'm not really functional at this hour, but I've been trying my best to get up a little earlier than I normally do. And so far, so good. Yeah, I'm just cranking them out, and I figure, I'm playing catch up in the streaming world. I've only really been doing it seriously for about 2 months. The Roach. Good morning. So, I'm still, like I said, trying to figure out other times to do it. Hello, beloved chatter, a legend in the streaming world. Um, yeah, I think Sunday nights will be my my flagship show. And then, I had some pretty good success with a Friday night stream, I think 2 Fridays ago. And then the other streams will just be, I don't know, kinda random when I'm feeling it and, uh, when I'm not stepping on anyone else's toes. Saturday afternoon, I did a stream where even Kevin Brennan was stream sniping me. That's when you know you've arrived, when you're getting stream sniped or whatever they call it, snipe streamed. Um, so here I am again. It's a slow news day. Nothing really going on. Not that this is a news stream, but we are an open forum here at the Earl Skakel House of Stream. Um, we talk a lot of wrestling, a little bit of hockey, a little bit of politics, a little bit of the Dabbleverse, and I'd like to thank everyone for the support they've been showing my comedy shorts on YouTube. And many of you know I had to take down a 45-minute set from the Comedy Store because the distributors of their specials were like, "This guy tried to do a special and not use us." But it kinda worked out because I'm experiencing some decent success with the shorts, probably more so than I would have just leaving the special, or it wasn't a special, but the setup. So I guess, all things work out in the end. Um, I don't have a real job either. I just tell dick jokes at night. Having friends is overrated, Nick. I mean, I have a lot of acquaintances. You can be alone, but not lonely. All you need is a PlayStation 5 and bingo. I bought 5 sports games for PlayStation 5. I bought Madden, hockey, the baseball game, soccer, and golf, and AEW Fight Forever. Good morning, Dottie 3 Reps. I only really play Madden the most. Yes. I mean, I'm a lone wolf. I've always been that way. So, like I said, though, I can be alone, but not lonely, especially when I have my dog. My dog is a soldier. Lois is a soldier of comedy, and I get her back this week. For those of you who don't know, I split Lois with 4 exes ago. That's how long I have had Lois. She's outlasted 4 girlfriends and I think 3 dogs. But she is getting up there in age, so nothing wrong with being a loner, Dottie. I don't mind it. Because I'm around so many people in my job. Comedy, stand up. I do voiceovers. I'm in a room full of 20 people. The cast, the sound engineers, the producers, the directors. So I don't mind going home and playing PlayStation by myself. I don't even play against other people. I just play against the computer or against the machine, I guess. So, I think if you're in good mental health, it's not bad. I think if you're struggling mentally, which I do from time to time, like everyone, that's when the loneliness, gets to you, or you're going through a breakup or whatnot. So, but I think if in general you are in a good place mentally, being alone, for me anyway, is almost preferred. Because most of my friends, comedy friends, they don't know how to behave socially. Like they're always doing jokes and bits and running new jokes by you, and it's like, no, man. Uh, yeah, but see, I'm out. Like last night, I was at the Comedy Store, saw a bunch of people. I loved coming home and playing a couple games of Madden, and then I did a stream, a little meditation, pretty good night's sleep, and here we are, a mid-morning stream. Mid-morning for me. This is actually very early for me, to be honest with you, but I don't really sleep 8 hours straight through. I more or less go to bed 4 a.m. or so, sleep for about 5 hours, get up, do some videos, and then, I nap. Like tonight, I have to, oh, I don't have to, but I take yoga at 6 p.m. my time. Come home, watch the Kings game. They play the Sharks, and then I'll start my comedy night. And who knows? Maybe I'll do another stream at 4 in the morning. Um, Trying to put up a video on Patreon right now, but it's not happening. I do not have the best Wi-Fi, as many of you Earl maniacs know. Yeah, I used to be into the Lakers, but I don't follow basketball anymore. I'm a hockey guy and a Steeler man, and I grew up with the Showtime Lakers. Kareem, Magic, Jamal Wilkes, Michael Cooper, Bob McAdoo, Spencer Haywood. Um, I like to watch the Knicks when Bernard King, Ernie Grunfeld, the Jewish Prince. I'm not really into the modern basketball. I don't know. I just don't watch it. It might be Mason Rudolph time in Pittsburgh. I mean, he's not that bad. His problem was, he was never going to replace Roethlisberger until Roethlisberger retired, and then they draft Kenny Pickett, and um, he's been. I mean, the jury's still out on him. Um, I mean, I wanted Malik Willis, but he hasn't exactly lit the world on fire either. So what do I know? Um, Bernard King was great in the episode of Miami Vice, where I believe Bill Russell played his father, and Michael Richards was the bookie trying to shake them down. Bernard King, he was the first jersey I ever got, like my first authentic jersey. Um, my second authentic jersey was a Houston Astros Cesar Cedeno, one of the great players from the 70s and early 80s. Um, I mean, Miami Vice had some really good episodes back in the day. Starks was cool. Um, I don't know about that. He was a good comic actor, but he wasn't really the best comedian in the world. Because most comedians could have gotten out of that situation. That's cool. Patrick Ewing's great choice. I mean, I grew up, obviously a Laker fan, but I kind of grew up also a Washington Bullets fan because I love their center, Wes Unseld, because he wasn't that big. He was only about 6'6". Um, so, and he battled with Kareem and Artis Gilmore. Like he held his own against the bigger players. They also had Elvin Hayes, and they had a white guy. I think he wore number 35, Kevin Greavy. Greedy. He was pretty good. Just weird to see a white player. He was like a long bomb shooter. So Oh, okay. That's cool to hear, beloved. But I mean, for an NBA center, he was small. I thought they listed him at 6'6", which probably meant he was shorter, but, I'll take your word if you're 6'4". But he was like the first tough physical player I ever really followed, and then there was, George McGinnis, I think, on the Nuggets or Sixers or maybe both. Lonnie Shelton. Uh, okay, Gravy. I don't know why I grew up a Bullets fan. I think when they beat the Supersonics, um, I just became kinda semi-obsessed with Wes Unseld and, uh, became a fan of Elvin Hayes and trying to think, Bob Dandridge, these names are coming back to me, and Greavy. I really followed them, and of course, I was a Steelers fan because my dad, knowing the owner of the Steelers, Art Rooney, and my favorite baseball team was the Cincinnati Reds because my dad knew the owner. See, I don't know who that is, beloved chatter. Phil Chernier. Um, I want to say they had a Mexican player too, or at least the player had a Mexican sounding name. Let me look up the Washington Bullets roster. Bullets. Yeah, let's see. 77, 78 roster. Okay, this is pretty easy. We've got Greg Ballard. I remember him. Yeah, you're right. Phil Chernier, Bob Danridge, Kevin Greavy, Elvin Hayes, Tom Henderson, Charles Johnson, Mitch Kupchak, Joe Pace, Wes Unseld, listed at 6'7", 245 pounds, Phil Walker, and Larry Wright. Pretty big team. Greg Ballard, I remember, was a good player. Wes Unseld, born 1946. Um, I remember as a kid when Mitch Kupchak was on the Lakers, and our seats were like on the 50-yard line for basketball. And yes, Marge Schott was the owner of the Reds. No, my dad knew Happy Williams. He was the owner before Marge Schott. I think the Williams family sold their interest to Marge Schott. Um, but I still have my autographed baseball by Ken Griffey, not junior, senior. People forget he was a good player. But my favorite baseball player at that time frame was the Cobra, Dave Parker, who, if you have a chance to see it on I don't know if they replay it a lot, but the Major League MLB network did their 30 for 30 type series on Dave Parker, and it's really sad because he has, I think, Parkinson's, and he's just gone from this mountain of a man to like this shell of himself. It's really sad, and still not in the Hall of Fame. He was the best player in the game for arguably 3 to 5 years. So hopefully he gets in before he dies. But you know, I don't know. I think because of the cocaine trial, that's probably preventing him. I mean, he certainly had the numbers. I think he was like a three-time batting champion, MVP one year. Of course, the throw of the All-Star game is, pretty maybe the greatest throw in All-Star game history when he threw out Brian Downing, basically threw a ball from the corner of the right field stands right to Montreal Expos catcher Gary Carter. And I can't think. I mean, I think Bo Jackson might have had a similar throw in the All Star game one year, but I mean, I don't know. I like Parker's better, but hopefully he gets in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand how they could hold the cocaine trials against him when I mean, look at some of the people who are in the Hall of Fame. I mean, Ty Cobb was a racist. Um, all the cheaters that are in there. Gaylord Perry, threw spitballs every game. Don Sutton doctored baseballs. So that's why I never really cared if people did steroids or not. You know how many people were cheating? You know how many people were on meth and speed to get juiced up for the games? I mean, how the league themselves juiced the baseballs to get more home runs. Oh, okay. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't in terms of Pete Rose, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame as long as he didn't bet on the Reds to lose. If he bet on if he bet on them to win, that means he was trying to win as best he could. But it also could have affected games, like, if you have a pitcher, like, say, when Pete Rose, I think Pete Rose was the manager when Tom Browning was like their star left-hander. And, if Browning should be taken out, but you want to leave him in there because he might strike out the next group of batters, but you leave him in there for too long and then he gets shelled and you lose the game because you're trying to win the game, ironically enough. That's a tough one, but there's so many scumbags in the Hall of Fame that cheated, and you think Pete Rose is the only person to ever gamble on Major League Baseball? Of course he's not. There's people who are in the Hall of Fame now. But I think because he hasn't really said he did it, we all know he did it. He hasn't really said, "I'm sorry." You know, he's not the easiest guy in the world to feel sorry for. But I don't think he'll ever get in the Hall of Fame unless you get a new commissioner who's a fan of his and goes, "Hey, it's time. He's paid his crime." Um, well, I always sort of like to mention Dexter Manley when I can. When I was on the Adam Carolla podcast, I don't know, 2 months ago, I randomly mentioned Dexter Manley, and ironically enough, the day before, their guest had also mentioned Dexter Manley. He was one of my favorite players. Another one, just should have had a longer run, but couldn't really control his demons. Same thing can be said for the great John Matuzak, sloth from the Goonies. Died at 39 years old, man. I mean, that's too bad. I knew his girlfriend at the time he died. She was a fitness trainer, and I remember her telling me she was trying to get him clean, but it was it's a tough ask. But hopefully he's in heaven right now doing a big line. I don't know what you guys believe in chat, but I imagine John Matuzak died, went to heaven or whatever's up there, and said to God, "Hey, you got any booger sugar? Because I'm jonesing, brother." Oh shit, we have a celebrity. He gets right to the questions. Thoughts on Ray? I don't really have any thoughts on Ray, to be honest with you. Nice guy, funny comic, from what I've seen. Um, I've really cut down on my Dabbleverse podcast. I pretty much only listen to Melton and MLC. Um, Ray frequently asks me to come on his streams, but I think I'm done going on other people's streams because I got to build up my own stream. You know, um, I finally, I have much more fun doing this, talking to you guys. I am Mr. Hollywood. Um, and I don't like the new wave of people joining the fray, you know? There's nothing against them, like, I don't know any of them, but, I think what people kinda whether you like the Dabbleverse or not, there are a lot of talented comics in it. You've got Bob Levy's a 35-year plus comic. Kevin Brennan's probably a 30-year plus comic. Melton is a 20 plus year comic. Chad has been doing comedy for probably 20 years or so. Um, Shuley has been in comedy a very long time. So I think when you get these people who aren't really comics or have any ties to stand up and they get in the jungle of the Dabbleverse, it's not entertaining to me. But it's certainly entertaining to a lot of people. So um oh really? You got to meet Dexter Manley? I mean, Matuzak's best role, in my opinion, I mean, he's probably most known for um uh, The Goonies, but the football movie North Dallas 40, like he was very good in that. He was so good in that that they kept giving him scenes like um Bo Svensson was really supposed to get most of the scenes between those two. But Matuzak, obviously playing for the Houston Oilers and the Oakland Raiders, he knew exactly what was going on in the NFL at that time. So he was just probably better suited for a lot of the scenes that he got. Um, so that's a great look into the life of the NFL in the late 70s. It's loosely based on the Dallas Cowboys. And if you are familiar with the Dallas Cowboys of that era, um, you'll know that like the great GD Spradlin, who plays the coach, he's basically playing Tom Landry, and Mac Davis is essentially playing Don Meredith, and Nick Nolte is playing Peter Gint, who wrote the novel, um, and then the Christian quarterback. He didn't have a big role in the movie, but he was playing essentially Roger Staubach. Um, and the funny thing is, when the movie came out, like the Nick Nolte character was a lot better in the movie, and that's the author of the book, North Dallas 40. Peter, is it Gint or Kent? Um, I don't want to disrespect him. Um, Peter Gint, Peter Gint. And when Don Meredith saw the movie, he said, "If Peter Gint was that good, I would have thrown to him more." Thank you. Sorry, for some reason I was thinking it was Kent, but that's a great sports movie. Very realistic look at the world of the NFL. Probably one of my favorite movie scenes ever is when they're trying to get the running back who was into the holistic approach of medicine. Um, Tommy Riemann is his real name, and he actually played in the pros. I think he got blacklisted for doing the movie because they didn't exactly portray the NFL in a good light. Um, but for the big game, the whole movie, he wouldn't shoot up the needles or take the pain pills. He would put on like the hot pack or go in the cold tub or the jacuzzi. And he was hurt for the big game, so they purposely had Nick Nolte shoot all the drugs up in front of him. And the coach just looks at him and goes, "You can do it too." And there's this beautiful scene where Nick Nolte gets up, he leaves, but the doctor left a needle right by the football player, Tommy Riemann. And he just looks at the needle, he's thinking about it, and then he just goes, "Fuck it." And he shoots up and he plays in the game and he gets hurt in the game. It's a great scene. I'm not really doing it justice, but um, if you have a chance, I think it's on Amazon, um, but I'm not quite sure. So, other favorite sports movies, Slapshot, obviously, uh, One on One with Robbie Benson, where ironically enough, the coach from North Dallas 40 plays a Bobby Knight sadistic type coach, um, and Robbie Benson plays the small town college recruit. And I won't spoil the ending, but that's a great movie. And GD Spradlin didn't start acting till he was like 50. And he ended up being in like Apocalypse Now, I think Godfather 2. He played the corrupt senator. He's really good. Uh, Sadly, he was pretty old when he died. I think he was about 90. I'm gonna be sad when Gene Hackman dies because I think he's 93, and he's one of my favorite actors. So check out North Dallas 40, One on One. I don't know. That might be on YouTube. I think I saw a ad for it on YouTube. So I'm going to cut the stream here now. I'm experimenting also with not just the different times, but uh, with different lengths. Like I know Melton does easily 3 to 4 hours like that, and Kevin on MLC does at least 3 hours. I want to see how like a half-hour stream does in the algorithm. So I appreciate you guys listening. I'll probably do another stream tomorrow night after AEW Dynamite. Should be a good one. We might see you, Dr. Chow. Always a pleasure. Might be a continuation of the Devil storyline. And with the great Kenny Omega injured, I'm sure there are writing as we speak to get Chris Jericho a partner because he has a match for the tag titles in 2 weeks at the pay per view, and Omega can't go. So maybe it's a handicap match, but maybe Jericho, see us, Aaron. We'll get a mystery partner. That's popular to build up interest. So I love you guys. You know where to follow me all over Earl Skakel, everywhere: Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I just put up a new short about an hour ago, so check that out, please. And I'll talk to you guys later.